we as a Palestinian, we are as civilians, we are also looking, and all people on the ground, they are asking and requesting to reach as soon as possible ceasefire in Gaza to stop the war, and because their life is became very difficult. Palestinian activities from male or female, they record in their mobile, they use their social media, Instagram or Facebook or other platforms to show the world what is going on the ground and the details. And I think this personal social media, it's became influence in this war that the voices around the world, like the protests in the States and in the Western and everywhere, to gathering and show their support to the Palestinian people.
Hello and welcome to Outlook. Today we have with us Dr. Abed Elrazeg Abu Jazer, Chargé d'Affaires at the Embassy of the State of Palestine in New Delhi. We'll be talking to him on the present humanitarian situation in Gaza, the possibility of ceasefire, and the role of Arab world in de-escalating the conflict in the region. Let us start. What's the situation in Gaza right now?
First of all, Mr. Tariq and Outlook Magazine or your staff, so thank you so much for your initiative to invite me to raise the voice of Palestinian people and to discuss together about the situation and ongoing war on the ground. The situation in Gaza, replying to your questions, is everyone is know that we are completely 1 year of the Israel aggression on Gaza. And this war is different of the several war in Gaza before. This war is genocide war. And the second things, and this war actions, all details is happened live. People can see all details of the war through the social media platforms, through the different types of media, people displacement, hunger people, the living in tent, and all different aggression on the civilian people, we can say. And all of the infrastructures in Gaza, almost of the houses are already destroyed, from Rafah to the Beit Lahia in the north, mosques, schools, universities, and also they not bombing the essential building, they are also targeting the infrastructures of the human being of Palestinian people, like doctors, professors, ulama, sports, all types of life in Gaza, targeting from Israel side.
In this humanitarian crisis, what stories are emerging? There are no more operational hospitals. There is no food to survive. How are people?
See, they use all types of pressure as their initiatives. They kill everything, every life in Gaza. If you go for a humanitarian, exactly, homes is a humanitarians, mosque is humanitarians, hospital, 35 hospital completely destroyed. Ambulances is destroyed, schools, universities, buildings, and students from universities, students from secondary school. We have also at least, this is second year, a new generation of students, they cannot join the school for the first class for essential education, So all this, and food, they use also the food to more pressure, like there is not allow for wheat to entrance to Gaza, and they didn't give the wheat for bakeries. They target the international kitchen staff. They target trucks who's carrying aids to Gaza. These trucks is UN trucks. Yesterday is the UN is announced that it will be stopped to entrance trucks to Gaza, because the Israelis target the trucks and the drivers and things. They use this food needed for the people and make it them hunger, and as a pressure, political pressure. These types is, I think, is backing with us to the long time of the old wars. We are in century 21. But sorry to that same types, it's still going on with the Palestinian people.
But since you had been a journalist for the past 3 decades, what do you think? Since international media is not allowed to enter in the territory, What stories would emerge once they are allowed to enter Gaza?
One of the Israeli targetings is to stop raising any voice from Gaza going out of Gaza. This is one type. Also other types of the aggressions. If I can mention, we can say as we record at least 200 journalists killed by the Israeli soldiers in Gaza. And second thing is, they are not allowed international media to come to Gaza because they're already destroying the Rafah border with Egypt. So how they can come? They only allow Israeli media to come to Gaza with the IDF, because they want to rise only their initiative, their reports, their story. They want to only to rise on the world and out of Palestinian story. So I think is when the media is coming, I think hundreds or thousands of media, international media will come to Gaza since they allow to come. If we are reach ceasefire, international media will rise more, will write and explain and cover the huge of story, human being story, destroying every story. It has different contents and suffering of Palestinian people. So the media which we are already saw, it's on the multiform. So they are Palestinian activities from male or female. They record in their mobile. They use their social media, Instagram or Facebook or other multiforms to show the world what is going on the ground and the details. And I think this personal social media, it's became influence in this world that the voices around the world, like the protest in the States and in the Western and everywhere, to gathering and show their support to the Palestinian people. They saw the videos, they saw the multiforms of the Palestinian activities. And we expect that a huge number of media will come to Gaza with different stories when its situation is allowed them to come,
What compelled Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to go for ceasefire with Lebanon? And will it also pave way for a ceasefire in Gaza?
See, he's targeting Lebanon, same like targeting Gaza. He wants and his plan to divide the united position between Lebanon and Palestine, because they show their support and they come to support Palestine practically on the ground with they are fight the Israelis in the north. The situation in Lebanon is also a hard negotiation is happened between the leaders countries like France and United States and also Lebanon, maybe Iran, maybe Israel and all to reach this ceasefire for 60 days. And still the situation is still not comfortable. The war can resume anytime. Now they are speaking about there is a high of speak about the expectation to reach ceasefire in Gaza. These voices is coming from Israel side and some sources, Arab sources, and the media, Wall Street Journal, and some American media. And I think, as you heard, that elected President Trump is asking Netanyahu to reach a deal or ceasefire and exchange prisons with the hostage before he's got his chair in 20th of January. We as a Palestinian, we are as civilians, we are also looking, and all people on the ground, they are asking and requesting to reach as soon as possible ceasefire in Gaza to stop the war. And because their life became very difficult on all types of life, and we are entering to the winter, how problems, in the living. And yesterday in his prestige letter, Prime Minister of India also, in his letter to annual letter on the Day of Solidarity with Palestinian people, Prime Minister of India is also his call for ceasefire, as soon as possible, and he's also show his support a two-state solution and committed also for giving all support to development to the Palestinians people. We also respect this, and the war should work together, from India to America to Arab world to stop this ceasefire. and to back again to the peace process, because peace is a benefit for all nations and all religions and stabilities for the West Asia region and the Middle East.
How do you view the role of Arab nation, particularly Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, in addressing the Palestinian issue vis-a-vis Iranian regime's role in this regard?
See, also all the Arab position is show through the declarations and the speech in the two meeting hosted in Riyadh for Arab countries and Muslim countries about the war in Gaza, and all the presidents, all the representatives from the head of the missions, head of the states or others, they call for ceasefire, they speak about peace, they speak about the Palestinians' right. So I think is Arab, it's a same position of Palestinians. And if you go back to the Arab Initiative for Peace, this initiative is called for peace, that the Arab is ready to full normalization with Israel if they given a Palestinian state on 1967. This is a special initiative. But the Israelis is deny this initiative, and they refuse to go on one step to implement the initiative or accept, or also to implement what is they are already signed in Oslo Accord 1993. So if you go back, if you are remembering, since we have our current president Mahmoud Abbas, when he's elected 2005 after Yasser Arafat, the leader Yasser Arafat is passed away. Since 2005 till now, there is no any life you can show in the peace process, no any meeting, no any negotiations, no anything implement on the ground. It is not only in Gaza what is going on this war, it is same aggression in the West Bank, in settlements and divided cities, and making the cities like gated communities, checkpoint, arrested, killing, same policy. If there is another different types, but the killing and still going on, killing is for peace and killing on the ground to target civilians,
Soon after the truce agreement with Lebanon, conflict began in Syria, where so-called Islamic militants are trying to topple or weaken Assad regime. How do you see its effect on the ongoing conflict in Gaza?
I think there is a plan. There is these things which target Syria, and it's targeting the country, the stabilities of the countries, as Arab countries, and these things is happened in the same time on Gaza war and what is still going on in Lebanon, So we are a united Syria for us as a Palestinian and Arab, united Syria and stability Syria. It's good for us. It means, stability is for all of the Arab countries, because any collapse in these countries, it is not meaning the country itself. It will be affect and influence the other neighbors, because we are one nation. If there is anything and any requirement for any people, I think is the policies is going through elections, through civilian activities, But war and internal war, it will be influence all of the Arab country and the security of the Arab country, and also absolutely the security in all the region,
There are talks about Israel's plan to divide Gaza or transfer the control of the Palestinian enclave to Fatah. Your comment on that?
See, this is not secret. They have generals' plans to cut the north and they cut the south and to divide Gaza. Gaza is a small place. It's 45 kilometer. It's a beach area. It's a beautiful area. It was before. After before destroying and bombing. Now they have their military plans, their IDF plans. I think this is plans, but the Palestinian peoples who still standing in their earth, and they are standing in the very bad conditions and situations in their tents, even it is rains and it is widely, and this standing is destroy all the Israelis' plan. And I think one of this plan not only divided the place and the land, they are also planning to push forward the Palestinians, which almost of them in Gaza is refugees, to go out of Gaza and making Gaza empty place, and because they believe that this population, it's for them is a dangerous and geostrategic dangerous for them as a population of Gaza 2.5 into. So, but all these policies, all these plans are destroyed by the standing and the powerful and the united of Palestinian people.
As you mentioned that Gaza is small place which is surrounded by sea, and but amid that bombings and all, Gaza is also called a cage in the world where there is no airport, no facilities. To enter that place, you have to cross so many checkpoints of the Israeli army. In that situation, even after a year of war, the IDF is not able to claim that it has conquered the territory. What's the reason behind it? How do you see the role of the resistance force?
It is coming as a right, even in the UN General Assembly's resolution, resistance, it's one of the Palestinian rights. But the type of resistance, it's can be decided by Palestinian people. What is suitable now? What is good to do now? If resistance, militaries or political resistance, it's coming through the Palestinian discussions, But resistance is one of the rights of Palestinian people, to get their rights, And types of the freedom of Palestinians, national movement, it is same roots of the Indian, for example, Indian national movement. When the Indian is occupied by British, is 200 years and more, Indian is use all resistance types to defend and to request and to achieve and to implement their requirement and their dreams, And they continuous types of resistance, long years, till the years 1947, they became independent, So Palestinians one types, And if you go back, the Indian national movement is, since it's working on the ground, they have its views and discussions and opinions to the Palestinians resistance. And they are showing all support since the beginning to the Palestinian resistance, politically and militaries. So I think is without reach peace, real peace on the ground, and without implement there is the UN resolution and to establishment of the Palestinians independent states with the East Jerusalem as a capital in 1967 border, as the word is said, as Oslo is said, as the logic is said. How you can speak with the new generation to stop their resistance or not to resist? You cannot. This is their personal right, this is national right, and this is one of our nationalism, so, and identity, because of this, nobody can expect and nobody can stop and nobody can tell anything about this, right? Till we reach the real state, Palestinian state, create on the ground,
Why the Israel, despite using all its might, despite using all its military might, has still not conquered the territory of Gaza? What's the reason?
Reason is the confidence of Gaza and the confidence of the people of Gaza and the stand of the people of Gaza and the united people of Gaza together, and because of this belief of their rights, not move out of Gaza and still, handing their positions, handing their united and in their confidence together, and they are stopped aggression. And second thing is Israel use very high powerful militaries. I think it is not only a message for Palestinians, it's message for the area and message to the Arab world, who's can think any of the Arab world, any of the countries can think or imagine that they can target Israel militaries, and it will be the same sample of what is going on to the Palestinians. It's a message. And also what happens to Lebanon, and they use the aircraft and bombing. It's a message to the Arab world, capitals, or if anyone of this capital can think that you will on a war to Israel or fight Israel, it will be like this, capitals, And I think is also they want to rebuild again the image of Israel as a sources of securities, the image of sample of securities countries and strong countries in the Middle East after what happened to them in 7th of October, you know. So they want to rebuild the structures of the Israel image, because they believe that this attack, it's broken this image, as a sample of securities, as a samples of powers in the area, in the region. How can rebuild this image and rebuild structures of their place and presence through this skill? They think.
Given the role of Iranian regime in this conflict, do you think that it's high time for the Arab nation to normalize relation with Iran?
They have, I think, this is an international question, so you can ask the Arab countries. We, as a Palestinians, is my views. I think, it is not analysis. We can see this on the ground. Almost of the Arab country, they have diplomatic relations, they have embassies, they have multilateral relations, they have trade relations, and they have state visits, exchange state visits. And we are, as a Palestinians also, we have embassy in Tehran and we have relation with Iran, So the truth on the ground, and all we need as a Palestinians from South America to Muslim countries, to the Arab world, to the African country, to Asian countries, to the freedom movement. We are working with all to reach and implement our independent state and to reach our rights, So we work with all. You see the protest and you see South American positions. You can see South Africa position. You can see Malaysian and Indonesian and Indian. So we work with all to get implement and achieve our goals.
How do you see the overall role of the OIC in raising the Palestinian issue on international fora?
Yes, OIC, it's called for many meetings in the level of foreign ministers, and also they issue many declaration also to as a united voice, warning from the war, call for ceasefire, call for peace, showing their support in the speech in the declaration. And OIC and other blocs, Arab or Muslim or Gulf or GCC or Arab League and all, they are working as a small group, political regional group, and they work with other multilateral group around the world to raise the Palestinian voice and to work for to reach ceasefire or to implement the agreement or for political solutions. These blocks, we are one of them, because Palestinian cause is already their cause. We are their cause. Muslim cause, Arab cause, African cause, freedom cause, justified cause,
Do you expect more escalation after President-elect Donald Trump takes over in January 2025? A large section of Palestinians consider him a solid backer of Israel and who in the past recognized Jerusalem as Israel's capital, ignoring the UN Charter.
See, we hope that a new era of elected President Trump, it will be different of the 2016, We hope this, Let us to wait and see. We believe of what we can sense, what we can touch, not in the speech, His speech to stop the war. Let us to see. And Muslim communities in some state, they vote to him, based on his asking and his promising to stop the war in Gaza or in Lebanon. Let us to see what is his foreign policy and what is his can do and implement on the ground. And this speech on his belief, We believe of the practical things, not only the speech. So let us to see,
How do you see the role of India in this conflict? Do you think that India has deviated from its historical position on the state of Palestine?
We didn't want to open these big questions now, but we are now on Israel aggression, on war. India have excellent relations with the Palestinian leaders, with the Israeli side. So we hope India and the Prime Minister of India can take initiative, to work with the other blocs in the world and multilaterals with the two sides to stop the war. And India can present its own initiative to reach ceasefire and to reach peace. India can also call for peace conference, and India can, if we reach ceasefire after some times, we hope India can. We are also looking to see Indian flag in Gaza in many projects like hospitals, schools, and to many types of assistance, in Gaza, same side to side with other countries, because we as a Palestinians, we are not looking to the India as a normal and a classical relationship or a normal country. India is landmark country, international platforms. India is looking to be permanent seat in the Security Council. We already support this Indian requesting and Indian calling. Also, based on principle of Indian foreign policy and the roots of the historic relationship with the Palestinians, we are looking and considering for much Indian influence role in the area, in the political things and in the development things, what is the Palestinians need,
So tell us about the psychological impact of the continuous air strikes in Gaza on children and women.
Its psychology is very bad, and I think there's a huge of diseases, different and special diseases and special cases of diseases will be after the war to settle in. Why? Because, we have 1,500 families already declared from the registers civilians record, completely died, and we have also we have samples of fathers who's only still alive and all families lost. We have one girls or one boys and all his family is lost. After the war, it will be real war, because people now, all of people is under pressure, shock. So details will be shown after the war is stopped. So one types of this, it will be shown.
Tell us about the role of United Nations and its failure in containing war or stopping war across the world.
United Nations is do all their best through political things in the hosted meeting, general assemblies, and many meeting for Security Council. And the third things is the speech and positions and the calling of the Secretary Generals about all details of the war since the war is started. Second things, our third or fourth things, is the role of the UNRWA on the ground to present and giving the different services to the Palestinians on the ground, like food or healthcare or schools or like this. The Israelis right now, I think they are killed 200 UNRWA staff. They are already died, Second thing, they targeting the school of UNRWA, who's the people, civilian is already displacement in these places, And all the healthcare of UNRWA, you can say that it is a stop. School of UNRWA, it's a stop, Aid, normal and usual aid to enter Gaza by UNRWA staff, it's not easy to allow, and they are suffering. And one types political ties that the Israelis in 28th of October, Israel Parliament, Knesset, they announced their bans to UNRWA rule in Palestinian territories. This is one type to target UNRWA and to stop their services to the Palestinians and to stop its influence and effect to serve the Palestinians. But let me here to mention, yesterday in the Prime Minister message on the Day of Solidarity of Palestinian people, he's reaffirms again that India will continue to support through United Nations like this. It means, I read it, that it is Indian position to continue to support UNRWA. And this is good positions, And I think is the Israeli policy to ban UNRWA. This policy is failed by the United and by the position, the real and the practical position of the almost of the world who decided to contribute and to support UNRWA.
Tell us about your family, which is still stuck there.
My family is still stuck there in Gaza. I am from Rafah. I am from Gaza City. I am I can say that we lost our I have farmhouse in Rafah. I think it's destroyed. My brothers in the United States, they are American. I think they lost their farmhouse. My father, he's 90 years. He's displacement to Khan Yunis. My latest brother, their sisters is there. My own family, my madam and the 3 children, they are living in the war in Rafah since 7th of October till March. Then before the destroying of the Rafah border checkpoint with Egypt, they success to shift to Egypt, and they back again to India. Now in November too, they reach here, but they have their special memorial about the bad days whose they are spent and in Rafah, and they are worried also about their past and their memorial and their friends and their cities and all of the Gaza. So I called my father. It's difficult to catch him because of the bad connection. So he's 90s. He's very worried, and he's worried. And he told me he will never see in his life since 1948, the first war. He will never see war like this, So and it's suffering, different types of suffering. A human being suffering. It's a big story. You cannot mention in one interview and in dozens of the books. You will see in the future a lot of stories, as I mentioned in the first, about the suffering and of the people. In different types of suffering.
It was a pleasure talking to you, Dr. Abu Jazer. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Tariq, and thank you for your magazine and your staff.
Thank you.